Well, the rain has moved out, still a little bit overcast, but the field is ready and the teams are ready. It's the final game this year between the Rockies and Marlins. It's the rubber matchup as the Rockies won Friday night. The Marlins won yesterday by a 6-2 score. Rockies looking to get back to 500 at 39-39. And I love this. Sunday, kids get to deliver the baseball to the pitcher, and the stem meter right now is running around 14 on the greens. So that's why that young lad had a little bit of trouble getting the ball centered. How cute was that?
A little Mickelson right there. That was great.
But he waited until it stopped.
Waited until it stopped.
Yeah,
he didn't kick it.
He didn't kick it. He didn't just take his putter and whack at it again. Time to take a look at our Conoco starting pitcher preview, brought to you by our friends at Conoco. And the matchup today on the hill, Caleb Smith, a very talented left-hander. He leads all rookies with 87 strikes. And German Marquez will go for the Rockies. And for him, the story doesn't really change, Spilly. It's really remarkable. We hate talking about the first inning stuff, but 15 starts. 11 of the 15 starts, he's given up at least one run in the first inning, and then he typically settles in.
It's because fastball command, and we'll take a look at his arsenal. The fastball is there. It's 95 miles an hour, but over the last couple of starts for him, the hitters are hitting about 500 against the fastball. It's telling me location isn't quite there. The curveball's been great. Slider's been good. Changeup usage, it's an improving pitch, which I like to see. Especially in this first inning. For me, Drew, it's establishing fastball on the corners. That's where he gets hurt. He's been hurt in the first inning because, as many starters in the very first inning, they struggle to find their release point.
So we'll look for that, and a hot hitter will lead things off for Miami, Derek Dietrich. He hit a home run yesterday. Wasn't supposed to be in the lineup yesterday. He was going to get the day off, and then there was an injury to Miguel Rojas, so he got placed in there, and he had an impact, as did JT Realmuto. Realmuto's had a terrific year. He had a grand slam in that 5-run seventh yesterday, which really provided a big margin for the Marlins. Bohr will be in the middle of the lineup again in the cleanup spot. JB Shuck, you'll notice, down in the 7th spot. He's getting a start in center field for the kid, Lewis Brinson. So I'll be a little bit later on, but we are set to go. And the first pitch of the afternoon is swung on and lined to left, and that's a fair ball into that corner. Derek Dietrich will have a leadoff double. So he ambushes Marquez.
That's what you want to do if you're a hitter. If you look at some of the numbers for German, it's the fastball and it's up. It's a good pitch to swing if you're Derek Dietrich, first inning. After a long delay, don't mess around.
The official rain delay, by the way, an hour and 31 minutes if you keep track of such things. And there's still a little bit of standing water. This field drains amazingly well. And this is on the ground toward the hole, and it's going to sneak through. Dietrich's going to try to move up now, and he will. So it'll be first and third. 2 pitches in. 2 pitches in, first and third for Miami. Brian Anderson reaches. He's hit a couple of balls in that same spot. Twice he's been robbed by Story. Trevor couldn't quite get this one.
2 pitches, and you can tell what the Marlins' approach is. They're just going to go after German right away. Trevor doing his best. I don't know if the field helped him out much. They had the tarp on the field, so the field did not get wet.
And now the toughest down in their lineup, JT Realmuto. And they've gone off the fastball here on the 3rd pitch. They go slider, and that's off the plate.
So here's some numbers from June 1st till the 23rd. Basically, German's last 3 starts. Teams are hitting .483 with a 1200 OPS against the fastball.
I just can't get over the first inning runs against German, in that we know how good the stuff is. I mean, if he gives up one here, it's 12 out of 16. You're talking about 75% of the time so far this year, coming up on the midway point of the season, he's given up a first inning run. And it's been staff wide other than Kyle Freeland.
Sure.
The 2 innings that have stood out negatively, unfortunately for the Rockies this year, have been the first inning and the 7th inning. And the 7th inning got them again yesterday. The Rockies have allowed more 7th inning runs than any team in baseball. Here's the 1-1 on Realmuto, and that's lined to the gap in right center field. It'll be cut off by Charlie. Realmuto runs well, and he's into second with a double, and it's 1-0 Miami. And now you're in a situation where you're trying to keep them from putting up a crooked number.
Notice location again. Fastball way up, belt high, middle. Realmuto's in a great place right now offensively. You see a hitter just taking fastballs. He's able to fire it opposite field. Yesterday we saw it against Brian Shaw with that grand slam. You give him a pitch middle and away, he's going to do damage.
Justin Bour had a big RBI single off the bench in that 7th inning yesterday. That was against Tyler Anderson. Anderson really threw the ball well. He worked into the 7th inning.
Going back to the first inning runs, I always like to point out what happens when an opponent scores first on the Rockies. The team is 13 and 29.
And that's ball 1 on Bour.
Much better location though. Bottom of the strike zone.
We had a lengthy conversation, Jeff Houston and I, yesterday, and that's a base hit, and that's going to score 2. 4 straight hits, and Miami's up 3-0. And again, Marquez came in with an ERA above 10 in the first inning, and I was alluding to a conversation that Jeff and I had on the air yesterday about the difference between control and command. Control is you don't walk a ton of guys. Well, you know, Germán's walked a few this year. Command is where are you in the strike zone? Are you making effective pitches in the strike zone? And the answer, you know, clearly for Germán, especially in this first inning, is no. The command in the zone is not good. And he's clearly and understandably frustrated.
That's a shock to your system. In your mind, you're thinking you're going to grab the ball and go 9 innings and throw a complete game shutout.
On the ground is short, and this eats up Trevor. And instead of a potential double play, you have 2 on. And I'm not going to make an excuse for Trevor, but everything's out of whack here in this first inning for the Rockies. And they got to grind right now, not to make that hill even steeper.
We talk about how Trevor most likely is going to win a Gold Glove this year. The way he's played defense, this one just takes a in-between hop, catches him on the thumb. Go down as an error.
And Buddy Black making an appearance at the mound, not Steve Foster. Buddy, as you know, does this periodically. When he wants the message delivered, a certain message delivered, he's going to come to the mound. And Walt Weiss would do this periodically. Other managers do it. I think it's certainly impactful when the manager comes out. I think it's even an added impact potentially when you know that your manager was a big league starter for 15+ years, was a pitching coach, and has forgotten more pitching than typically the guy in the hill knows.
That was a pretty lengthy conversation where it looked like Bud was trying to give him confidence. Hey, you have to pitch down the zone. Your pitches are up. It's okay. It's the first inning. It's 3 runs. Limit the damage.
JT Riddle, the shortstop for Miami's at the plate. And that pitch missed down. Jeff Nelson's the home plate umpire. He's the veteran on this crew. He's the crew chief. Tom Woodring at first. You know where he's from?
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Scott Barry at second. Carlos Torres is at third. Well, Herman needs another ground ball in a big way. That's foul.
What I like about Buddy going out to talking to Herman too, body language after those 4 straight batters, visibly upset, visibly shook. And if you're in the Marlins dugout, you see a pitcher like that, it's blood in the water.
That's out in front of the plate, but foul. Strike 3, first out of the inning. A curveball freezes Riddle. J.B. Shuck will be coming up for the Marlins. We take a look at the Rockies' defensive alignment today. Lefties on the hill, which means Noel Cuevas is in the ball game. He's in right field for Cargo. Charlie's in center, and Gerardo Parra, who's swinging the bat at a very high rate. He'll be in left field. In the infield, you know that group. Behind the plate, the Rockies utilizing 3 catchers. It's Tom Murphy's turn today. Slowly hit toward Desmond. He's got 1 play, and that's to Herman. Second and third, 2 outs. And now you have the opportunity, and I think there's no question, you just got to pass on Rivera and go to Caleb Smith. Different in the first inning if maybe you'd given up 1. You've given up 3. You just cannot allow, in my mind, and Buddy may look at it differently, a position player to hit here.
Surprised they're looking and they just said it. Go first.
You can't risk going down 5 runs.
You can't.
So Miami will hit around in this first inning. And it'll be up to Herman to get his counterpart, big strong guy Caleb Smith. He's hitting 143 this year with an RBI. One strike to count.
Even with 2 outs, Herman has been bitten by batting average with runners in scoring position. .325 average against him.
He's got to go after Smith. He's ahead 0-2. To your point, he's got to go after Smith like he's JT Realmuto. Two strikes with the bases loaded, and he got it. In the inning, 9 men come to the plate for Miami after the rain delay. The first 4 had hits, 3 scored. Nothing. 5 out of 7 ball games on this homestand now. They have come to the plate in the first down. The good news is the Rockies are 4-2 so far in this homestand, trying to improve to 5-2. They'll have to do it again in comeback fashion. Southwest batting order: DJ, Charlie, Nolan, Trevor Story, Ian Desmond, Tom Murphy. Rockies loading up on the righties against the left-hander Caleb Smith. Gerardo Parra with Blackman, the only 2 lefties in the lineup. Gerardo's hitting everybody these days. Noel Cuevas will bat 8th in front of Marquez. And starting for the Miami Marlins is Caleb Smith, and the Rockies have some payback on their mind when it comes to Smith.
Yeah, the last time they saw him was in Miami, and Smith pitched a very strong game against the Rocks. 7 innings pitched. He's acquired from the Yankees this offseason. He's pitched extremely well. Good fastball, slider that the month of June has been hit at a 295 clip, but prior to that, it was basically a 091 against the slider. He is a strikeout pitcher, leads all National League rookies with strikeouts.
He's been much better at home and pitches in a pitcher's ballpark in Florida. There's no question about that. It's one of the largest ballparks in baseball. Out on the road, his ERA is 4.89. And as Billy mentioned, he was terrific in April and good in May. He's had a little bit of a rough patch here in June. The Rockies look to make it even slipperier. I think it's always important, especially when you're down, to counter punch naturally, but especially given the fact that he threw 7 shutout against you the first time you faced him. 0-1, and that's fouled off. 2 strikes on DJ.
There's some deception with Smith's delivery. It's a little bit of a short arm. Hides the ball extremely well and then throws a slider off of it.
DJ 0 for 3 yesterday, did reach on a walk. And that's in tight. 2-2, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And 3-2. Rockies ran into Trevor Richards yesterday, and boy, did he ever have that changeup going. He threw 6 innings of 1-run baseball against Colorado. A changeup that started about the knees and dove to the ankles.
We'll have more on that changeup. I was talking to Jeff Salazar and Dwayne Espy, and they said, Spilly, you got to look this thing up. Richards' fastball, the spin rate, is actually less than the spin rate on his changeup.
And happy birthday yesterday. Belated happy birthday to Dwayne Espy. The Rockies organization for a long time. Second tour of duty as the big league hitting coach. Another 3-2 to DJ. Ball 4, so a great at bat. That'll bring up Charlie. Hey, we missed a birthday yesterday, and this one's important because Donnie's been with us for 45 years, and he turned 50 yesterday. Donnie Mills, who's one of the top camera operators, whether he's behind that big lens or an ENG in the business, and it's the only time we're going to say something nice because we missed saying something nice yesterday on his birthday. Donnie, happy birthday, brother.
Yep, happy birthday.
Strike 1. I was kidding Donnie back when I was doing the Nuggets. Donnie was, if there's 82 games, so there's 41 home days. Donnie was in the open on camera in like half of those.
He's a star.
He is a star. 2 strikes on Charlie. Interesting splits, Billy, for Blackman this year. He's actually hitting much higher against lefties, 324, than righties, 259. Have a theory?
Keeps his front shoulder in a little bit longer so he can see the baseball.
Got the slider, not a surprise. 1-2.
Going back and looking at several careers of players that have these type of splits, especially for lefties, I always just kind of looked at teams that looked at platoon splits, and I always felt like, you know what, give a guy an opportunity to face left on left, right on right, because it would allow a hitter to be mechanically sound, because you have to keep your front side closed.
You can see stuff-wise why Caleb Smith has a high strikeout rate. Got mid-90s fastball that, in talking to some guys, it plays up, which is saying something when you already throw hard. And he's got that slider. 2-2. Another full count. It's about automatic in baseball. 3-2 count. You're going to get a pick. DJ completely expecting it. Took a smallish lead.
Well, I'm not so sure this is a running count for DJ with the 3-2 count. Strikeout pitcher, left on left.
Yep.
Great arm behind the plate.
He's not going, and this ball is lifted to left. Playable out there for Dietrich. 1 out, and that'll bring up Nolan.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Weather the storm. After that 3-run first inning, the Rockies have to find a way to win this series. 4-2 record on the current homestand. Cannot state this enough. This series so important to finish on a winning note. Win this series, be given a very difficult road trip starting this afternoon. You're heading off to San Francisco and LA.
Nolan does damage in every inning. In the first inning, he's in particular been a beast. 8 home runs in the first inning this year. Leads Major League Baseball in ribbies in the first frame. Rockies down 3-0, bottom of 1 out. DJ's at first. He walked.
Nolan leads all baseball against left-handers. 438 batting average, 8 home runs. He did face Smith in Miami, went 0 for 3 with the strikeout. So payback.
And that's just outside. 2-1.
Good matchup for the Rockies today to get back into it. As a unit against lefties, Rockies third in baseball with an 805 OPS. That means they're doing some damage.
The other 3 teams on that list are all really good teams in 2018. The Braves probably surprising a bunch of folks. The Yankees were expected to do well. We know how good the Astros are. 2-2. And 3 straight hitters. But Caleb Smith has gone full on. Story to follow. 20th pitch already of the inning. And Nolan drives it high and deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Here come the Rockies.
Home run number 18 for Nolan. He's just on a tear against left-handers. That's going to push his average up over 440 against lefties in 2018. His 9th home run on the season as well. After falling behind, pushing the count to 3-2 on the Subaru Supermo. How short, how quick, how sweet his swing is.
Well, yesterday he didn't hit a home run. It's like a 5-column headline in the Post. He had gone 4 straight hitting a home run, so he's starting a new streak today. The longest of his career was 6 straight games. That was so important on so many different levels. Number one, the obvious one, the Rockies were down 3-0. Now it's a 1-run game. And number two, as we were discussing earlier, they got blanked by this kid in Miami a little more than a month ago. That was loud.
No doubt.
Story, a quality swing. 1-2. Guy throws hard. Oftentimes you got to do a little less, right? And that's what Nolan did on that swing.
He's really good against high velocity because of that.
This is going to be handled at second base by Starlin Castro, 2 outs. And Desmond coming up as we check the gloves for Miami. In the outfield, it's Derek Dietrich and Shuck and Anderson. In the infield, the left side will have Yadiel Rivera at third and JT Riddle at short. Riddle started on Friday night. Desmond got one off speed. It's 0-1. He's walked 8 times in the last 4 ball games, and this is on 2 hops to Rivera. In the first, the Rockies get a 2-run home run from Nolan Arenado, and they're within 1 of Miami, 3-2, as we go to the second. That never gets old, does it? SportsNet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Well, we had a rain delay and hail delay of 1 hour and 31 minutes before first pitch today. At one point, you couldn't see the outfield wall. It was raining and hailing so hard. Inning number 2, Rockies down 3-2. Still some standing water out on the warning track. And it's the top of the order again for Miami as Herman suffered through a very difficult first inning. He gave up 4 straight hits out of the gate. 3 runs in the first as the Marlins hit around. 1-1 on Dietrich, who hit the first pitch of the ball game down the left field line for a double. Dietrich and Real Muto in particular have had strong series for Miami.
Well, Dietrich just on his road trip is 11 for 28.
And this ball's in the air, right center field and deep, and gone. Dietrich has done it again. And it's 4-2. That's about where he hit his home run yesterday against Tyler Anderson. I mean, even with that high wall, that's really a no-doubter.
11th home run of the season, hanging curveball, 3-2 pitch. The Subaru Supermo. It's just location for Herman. Dietrich knew right off the bat. He got it.
Here's Brian Anderson. Last year, we would see a lot of uncomfortable at-bats against Herman. Not seeing as many this year, and he has the stuff to produce uncomfortable swings. Dietrich is homered in all 3 ball games in this series.
It's because of the location. It's too much middle, and Herman, we've seen it throughout the season, especially against right-handed batters. He cannot command inside portion of the plate with the fastball.
And Anderson swings and misses on a slider away. That's the third strikeout for Marquez. That'll bring up Real Muto. Fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your questions. Use Twitter. Include the hashtag #ToyotaTalk. Real Muto doubled to right center to drive in a run in the first. On JT. Oklahoma kid takes inside 2-0. Marvelous athlete growing up. He was a terrific high school quarterback. When he's asked about his speed, he's probably the fastest catcher in baseball. It's important to him to maintain his overall athletic abilities, because that's how he always perceived himself, not as, you know, the prototypical catcher that doesn't run well. He's, I'm a football player, I'm a basketball player, I'm a baseball player, and I expect to stay athletic. You can tell he's got an athletic build. He played first base yesterday. Don Mattingly does that with him to keep his bat in the lineup. Understandably so. 3-1, and he walks. Well, the Rockies made a roster move late this morning. The struggling Brian Shaw was placed on the disabled list. Yency Almonte, who was sent out yesterday when Pat Valaika came back, never got to the airport. He got a call as he was en route to the airport to join Albuquerque. He said, come on back. Big Justin Bohr at the plate at George Mason University. Periodically we talk about the Rule 5 draft. There's Almonte. And there's been some great Rule 5 selections through the years. Justin Bohr was a Rule 5 selection by Miami back in 2013 off the Cubs 40-man roster. It's turned out pretty well.
I always like a guy that hits without batting gloves. Some guys do that because they like the feel of the wood bat between their hands. They feel like the bat doesn't move around as much in their hands.
Ground ball through the right side, a base hit. Realmuto will long stride it toward third. First and third, one out. Boers 2 for 2. Well, speaking of guys that didn't use batting gloves, when the Mets were in town, we had a lengthy chat during a rain delay in the Mets series with Keith Hernandez, who never wore batting gloves, and he said kind of what you were saying, that A, you liked the feel of the bat, and B, he was always concerned that when he had gloves on, the bat felt like it would slip a little bit. Castro at the plate.
I've seen some guys do a hybrid of just wearing a bottom hand glove and top hand no batting gloves, so you can have a feel.
Oh, and 2. And guys will do that to protect especially if they're down around the knob, right?
Yeah, it's because you get calluses on your hand, on your palm.
One and 2. Swung on and missed. So a strikeout off the plate of Starlin Castro by Marcus. And there's 2 outs. That'll bring up the shortstop Riddle. He struck out looking his first time.
Looking at the first 2 innings for Herman, 4 strikeouts. His stuff's elite. Like, his stuff is great, but because he doesn't have the ability quite yet as a young pitcher, don't forget he's only, what, 23 years old. He's going to have to learn to command fastball inside and out. If he doesn't, and this is what we've seen with right-handers, because he's only one side of the plate, it becomes very easy to hit. And if you're missing up with location, now teams are doing damage. And it's why it explains over the last month why teams are hitting about 500 against his fastball.
1-1. He had some interesting things to say after watching Jacob deGrom throw against the Rockies the other day. And 2 guys with, power arms from the right side. And he noted, Herman's a very sharp young man. Just how he commanded his fastball in the zone. Runner going, popped up, shallow center. Charlie is going to get there. In the inning, Dietrich hit another home run, his 3rd in the series, and it's 4-2, middle of 2, Miami in front.
And then Gerardo Parra coming to bat for the Rockies. Now, if you walk around the clubhouse lately for the Rockies, you will be seeing a lot of these t-shirts. They have Gerardo's face on them with El Yolo, a nickname that he was given by his grandmother, whose name was Yolanda. They called her La Yola. They thought that Gerardo was a lot like his grandmother, so therefore that's where El Yolo came from. It has nothing to do with You Only Live Once, although Gerardo does like that reference. Now, he made these to raise money for his foundation, but he's been giving them to all the guys. And I was asking Cargo, what does Parra mean to this clubhouse? And he says anytime a guy comes in and hands out free stuff and everybody around the clubhouse is wearing them, he says it's a unifier. He said Parra is so great. Guys, we talked about how he gave the coaches shoes, and now he's giving them t-shirts. I like the nickname El Yolo, but it could be something like stylist or something. I don't know.
He's full of life, I know that, and he reminds me a lot of a Rocky we saw yesterday, a former Rocky in Yorvit Torrealba.
Yeah, good comparison.
Clubhouse will never be down when they're part of it. Remember Walt Weiss saying that in any day game, he was always going to play Brandon Barnes, the barnyard. And Brandon was a fourth outfielder. Swung on and missed. Murphy strikes out against Caleb Smith, 1 out, and that'll bring up Gerardo right now. But because day game after night game, you remember sometimes guys are fatigued, and you're trying to get the body clock going earlier in the day as opposed to you're so conditioned to play in the evening. And the barnyard was always up and ready to go, and that's Gerardo. So they bring energy and life, and you can't help but follow.
You need energy players. You need your energy players to be good.
Dodgers won last night. Clayton Kershaw returned, and he pitched 3 innings against Jacob deGrom. And the Dodgers ended up beating the Mets last night.
I think Caleb Smith just got hurt.
Yeah, the whole training staff's running out. We'll check on that in a moment. Here's Kershaw. First inning, he had real good stuff. Again, he went only 3 innings because of a pitch count. He's supposed to make this start in AAA. And curveball hasn't changed. The velocity was up a tick. It was 90-91. Let's see, mid-90s. The reason I mention that is the Dodgers just won in 11 innings in New York, 8-7 over the Mets. They hit 7 solo home runs in that game.
And the Dodgers ended up winning today too, hitting a couple more home runs.
No, that's what I'm talking about. They hit 7 today.
No, you're talking about last night.
Smith's not even going to throw another pitch. He's just coming off the mound with 1 out in the 2nd inning.
Well, you could tell in his face on the mound, he was visibly shaken. He felt something right on the pitch. I thought maybe he threw a changeup. You can just see him immediately grimace.
And the way he walked off, I think I'm guessing it's a groin issue.
I thought I saw him point to a trainer at his arm.
Oh, you know what? I don't want. It's foolish to speculate, and I don't want to do that. I thought initially he was indicating it was, upper part of the leg. Marlins lead 4-2. 1 out for the Rockies in the bottom of the 2nd. We'll see who the Marlins bring in. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. By Papa John's, use the code ROCKSWIN for 50% off pizzas at papajohns.com the next day. And by Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. A beautiful shot of Golden, Colorado. Rockies down 4-2. An injury to Caleb Smith. Find out more as soon as the Marlins clubhouse lets us know. So Drew Richinski will take over. He's had big league time with Minnesota last year, obviously with Miami this year, and also in the past with the Angels, originally an undrafted free agent, a senior signed by the Cleveland Indians. He pitched 4 years at Ohio State University. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, went to Union High School in Tulsa, which is a power in every sport. And Richinski so far this year, since being called up from New Orleans, done a nice job.
Good fastball, will throw a curveball and a cutter. It has a split finger. I was watching home plate umpire Jeff Nelson, the crew chief of this umpire group. He made sure to let Drew know, hey, take your time. Take your time, get loose. There's times where you feel a relief pitcher comes in, got to warm up in front of the entire audience, and they rush. They don't give themselves a full opportunity to get loose. And after seeing Caleb Smith go down, you don't want to see another pitcher get hurt. It's hard to watch a major league player get injured, and watching Caleb get hurt.
Couldn't agree with you more. We've had that discussion many times over the years that guys tell themselves they're ready before they actually are, because all of a sudden they're doing what they normally do in the bullpen in front of 35 or 40,000 people, and they're feeling like, I'm uneasy because they want to see baseball.
Yeah, they want to see baseball. They're yelling at me, let's go.
So 1 out, and Gerardo Parra with a 1-0 count. Remember, it came after the first pitch from Caleb Smith where something wasn't right. Smith had made every start in the rotation this year for Miami. Parra fouls off that first pitch fastball. Came in at 93 miles an hour. Broken bat roller to Bohr. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Noel Cuevas. You know, it's interesting. Cuevas, who's done a super job, starts against every lefty. Well, here in the second inning, all of a sudden you flip out the lefty because of an injury, and there's only one other lefty in that bullpen for Miami. That's Adam Conley. He's more of a setup guy now. This is bounced up the middle. Riddle's got it. And that's all for the Rockies in the second. 4-2 Miami leading as we go to the third. the road after the ball game. They'll play 3 in San Francisco, 3 in Los Angeles. Real important week next week. They're all important, right? Today's really important. The Rockies fell behind 3-0 in the first. Herman Marquez continues to struggle in the first inning. He came in with an ERA above 10 in the first. Nolan hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first to get the Rockies within a run, and then Derek Dietrich led off the second with a home run. Now it's J.B. Shuck. By the way, it is Rucinski on the mound now for Miami. And the reason I'm clarifying that, because in Miami's media guide, they have a phonetic spelling of Rucinski. You would think they would know their own player and you'd get the right pronunciation for a guy that's on your team. That's rifled to right, a base hit for Shuck. We double checked with our friends next door, Paul Severino, and a former Rocky.
Yep. Todd Hollingsworth.
Yep, Holly's on that side. There's Todd on the left side. Paul Severino on the right. Former Rookie of the Year with the Dodgers, Todd Hollingsworth. Second year in the broadcast booth with the Marlins. But it is Rucinski. So J.B. Shuck, who is Rucinski's teammate at Ohio State, is at first. Here's Yadiel Rivera. He was intentionally walked his first time up. 7 hits already for the Marlins. And it's been the fastball that's been getting hit primarily. Dietrich did hit a curveball, a hanger for a home run. There's a breaking pitch up in the zone, but called a strike. It's 0-1. Here's Mr. Rucinski. Murphy slides and blocks that breaking ball in the dirt. It's 1-2.
I keep diving more and more into Herman's fastball and looking at some numbers. The contact percentage against it at 91%. For a fastball at 95 and above, that is extremely high. He's getting swinging strikes, so not a lot of swing and misses on the fastball, and that's alarming. And it's also telling you the location is very hittable.
Now, through the years, many times you hear from big league hitters that, yeah, he throws hard, but it's straight. Murph wants a curveball, and he gets a strikeout. So Rivera got 5th strikeout for Herman, and that'll bring up Drew Rucinski, his 3rd career plate appearance. 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. He's probably going to be sacrificing here.
Looking for a unique venue for your next private event? Coors Field is available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Go to Rockies.com/events for information. This might be interesting, watching him try to put a bunt down. When you're an American League relief pitcher, that bat might as well be a hockey stick.
Shuck runs well at first. Rockies had their 4-game winning streak snapped yesterday in the 6-2 defeat. Conversely, the Marlins had their 3-game losing streak terminated. And that's all for Rucinski. Didn't take long. 2 outs. And that'll bring up the problem child, Derek Dietrich. Double and a home run already today. He's hit a home run in each of the ball games in this series. He's got himself another hit. Now he's triple shy of the cycle. How many pitches has he seen? 4?
So he won his first bat, one right there, and I think it was a 3-2 count curveball.
Okay, so he saw a few on the second.
But he's seen every single pitch, and Herman's not going to be able to get him if he can't get the ball in. And again, location thigh high. Derek Dietrich came into today's game hitting .361 since May the 11th. It's over 1,000 OPS.
Now Brian Anderson, he had an infield hit in the first, so he's reached it 21 straight. Marcus struck him out in the 2nd inning. Rockies have been out hit 8-1 here in the early going. Oh, and 1. That's foul. Two-strike count on Brian Anderson. One and 2. Marlins trying to do, excuse me, the Rockies trying to do something today to the Marlins that they've done on 3 occasions this year, overcome what at one point was a 3 or more run deficit. 1-2, and that is down the right field line, foul, fortunately.
Very fortunate. That would have easily scored Dietrich from first base. Dietrich thinks it's a ground rule double.
Now Dietrich, excuse me, Anderson is 5th in all of baseball hitting with runners in scoring position, right at 400. You look at what Dietrich's done. Brian Anderson's had a really nice year. Starlin Castro's been steady. JT Realmuto's had a great year. You say, how are they averaging just 3.5 runs a game?
Marlins Park.
That's part of it. Big part of it. Good block again by Tom. So important for a catcher at any level, but at this level, when you put 2 or 3 digits down, if it's going to spin, it's your responsibility to block it.
And it gives more confidence to the pitcher, knowing that you can spike that curveball. You can rip that slider down. Don't want to leave it up.
Well, there's another block on a slider away. So the 3 pitches he was trying to induce a swing on were dismissed as balls out of hand. Why don't you explain that?
Well, they're non-competitive pitches because you're reading it out of the hand and it's already spiked. I mean, it's already down, and I understand Herman's trying to keep the ball down.
And on the ground is short. Story will go the long way with the runners moving. And Herman avoids further damage in the 3rd. There were a couple hits, a couple of men left. 4-2. The Rockies will have 9-1-2 when we come back.
Anderson, a kid who played college ball at the University of Arkansas. He spent 3 seasons there before being drafted by the Marlins in the 3rd round in 2014. But in 2012, he actually had the chance to play in the College World Series. I was able to talk with him earlier this week about how being able to do that prepared him for his big league career.
It helps you get in front of fans. You know, I think in college baseball, at a lot of places where you play, you don't really play in front of that many fans. You don't really get that adrenaline rush that you quite get, you know, at a place like the College World Series. You know, I was really fortunate in my freshman year to get to do that, and you know, it's just a lot like playing in the big leagues.
And speaking of the College World Series, those are actually going on in Omaha right now. We're down to the final 2 teams. And his Razorbacks right back in the mix. Oregon State and Arkansas will be the final 2 teams playing in the championship round. That championship round begins tomorrow and will go through Wednesday. It's best of a 3-game series. And I just got to throw this in there. I also went to Arkansas, so I will be calling the Hogs basically everywhere I go, Monday through Wednesday. Drew?
Yeah, I was going to give you a hard time about that. I was like, are you kidding me? That was the most self-serving little feature you did there. Brian Anderson, a nice kid, but we know the whole reason why you wanted to do that.
Yeah,
Thinly veiled.
I was actually college classmates with Brian, so it was a little bit self-serving, you know. Trying to promote Brian, but also mainly trying to promote the Razorbacks because they will win a national championship. Just wait.
It's going to be a good series with Oregon State. Arkansas, if they win it, it'll be their first ever. And one thing that Brian touched on, college baseball. You and I love college baseball. You played at UCSB, Santa Barbara. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago now? Last
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Time flies.
Still recovering.
I understand. But if you go to Arkansas, you do play in front of big crowds.
Yeah, it's a great crowd, great fan base.
Yeah, they really draw down to Fayetteville. 1 out.
I worked at Baum Stadium in college, and it was just amazing. I mean, 14,000 fans at times, which is unheard of. And actually, throughout the Super Regional, Arkansas hosted, and they drew 11,000 fans, which was the most among any Super Regional.
Can we get a suey pig from you?
Ooh, pig suey! I won't call the Hogs the whole time. I might
It sounds
annoy
like my
everyone.
car's getting broken into right now.
Just wait. You will be calling the Hogs when they win a national title.
All right, Taylor, we'll check back with you in a month. 2-1. And DJ rips this ball to left center for a base hit.
Nice piece of hitting by DJ. Car alarm. It's on the overrated list. Most people don't do anything when someone's car's alarm's going off. They just say it's annoying.
Right.
Here's
Somebody turn that off.
Yeah, here on the Subaru Supermo. It's like a cutter inside, and DJ pulls his hands in. Rucinski comes into today. Longest outing he had was last week through 3 innings in San Francisco, but hitters are hitting 143 as right-handers. Lefties are hitting 182.
One strike on Blackman. Fly ball to left field his first time up. Charlie's due. Getting his hits. Throwing out the occasional home run. Sitting on 14 of those. His 14th came on Wednesday against the Mets. Just his 3rd that he's hit here at Coors Field. Fastball again at the bottom of the zone at 94, fouled back. One out, DJ at first, 4-2 Miami. We're in the 3rd. Have been good against the National League East so far this year. Well, they played early against Washington on the road. They're 13-9 against the East. The club that gives them more issues than anybody the last few years, we've discussed this, is Miami. You know, the Marlins have not had a winning season since 2009 when they went 87-75. Matched up well against Colorado the last few years.
Charlie's putting together one of those at-bats. You saw it on Friday. His ability to hit with 2 strikes, punch a ball into the outfield for a hit.
And again, just gets a piece of it. You know, some of the interesting things when you compare these two franchises, they both began in 1993. We're talking about the all-time regular season wins being almost identical. Players used all-time within 2.
Come on.
The Rockies have used 560 total players in their history. The Marlins 558. This ball line base hit. DJ had to freeze to see it past Castro. And that was a vintage Blackmon at bat.
So good. It was great seeing Todd Helton yesterday. And there's aspects of Charlie Blackmon's game as he's progressed and gotten older and understood the strike zone, how he's been able to fight off pitches. He's down to 2 strikes right away. Fouls off a couple tough pitches, then gets one he can handle. 294 batting average in 2018 for Charlie. You know, with 2 strikes.
Spilly, there are bats you feel good about because the result was good, you squared it up, and then there are bats you feel really great about. That one has to feel special to Charlie. I know it's a base hit at the end of the day, but that was a special AB.
Especially when you're facing a guy that you haven't really seen before and has good stuff.
0-1 on Nolan. He had a 3-2 fastball against Caleb Smith. 415 feet into the seats and left for his 18th home run of the year. He's closing in on Bryce Harper. 0-1.
Some StatCast numbers on that home run brought to you by Subaru. Well, travel 415 feet, 24-degree launch angle. I don't do decimal points. It was 109 miles an hour off the bat.
Fastball that was in the Subaru strike zone. Fortunately not called a strike by Jeff Nelson.
And this is where Nolan has started to improve, is being able to shoot the ball opposite field. That's why you see the high batting average for him this season.
2-2. Just got word from the Marlins clubhouse. Left shoulder tightness as to why Smith had to leave. So both of our speculative glances at what they were looking at were wrong. I thought it was a leg. You thought it was a forearm. And evidently it's the shoulder. But Smith gone after getting 4 outs and giving up 2 runs. 2-2. And Nolan strikes out. He can't move up there because first base was occupied with less than 2 outs. The runners will move up. It'll be a pass ball on Real Muto. So second and third, 2 outs for Story. And they're going to call it a strikeout wild pitch, not a pass ball. Trevor popped out his first time. Tying run at second. Outside. So it's going to go out to the mound. Here's a strikeout again. It's a changeup.
That's a split finger on the Subaru Supermo. It's a good pitch. Bottom fell it right out of it.
And then JT Realmuto is really good, and he'll tell you after the game that's when he's got a catch. They gave it to Rucinski. That's not a wild pitch in my book. That's on JT.
You don't see a lot of split fingers in baseball anymore. It's really a dying pitch, other than from Asian-born players. You saw Hirano has a split finger. Tanaka.
When you played in Japan, you said virtually every guy that you faced had that in their arsenal, right?
Yep. There's the grip. They're split fingered. It's basically a split finger with two-seam action.
One and 0 on Story. Line drive, foul down the line. Today is game number 78 for the Rockies. Trevor Story has started all 78. Second in the league with the 56 RBIs, fourth in all of baseball. Trying to add to that total right here. And he will. This should tie it up. LeMahieu scores. Here comes Blackman, and we're all even at 4. Trevor Story yet again.
Story 282 batting average with runners in scoring position, and the pass ball comes back to hurt the Marlins. Fastball, the Supermo out over the plate. Trevor with the quiet swing. See how his head barely moves, where he makes contact out in front. Trevor is a candidate to steal a base as well. Trevor on the season, 9 stolen bases, caught twice. The Rockies as a team, 41 stolen bases.
Strike one on Desmond as he bounced to third his first time. So the Rockies allowed 3 in the first, down 3-0. Got 2 back, and now they've gotten even at 4. Trevor goes, and Realmuto's throw, not going to get him. Wrong side of the bag. JT Realmuto throws as well as anybody in baseball. Not just velocity behind the plate, but his transitions. His pop times have averaged in game 186. That's the best in baseball.
10th steal for Trevor Story, sliding to the outside part of the bag, just out of the reach of Castro, who does a good job putting down a tag, even though it was thrown to the wrong side. There's times, look, it's difficult to make a throw perfect every single time.
It's a 128-foot throw for a catcher. You don't have time to crow hop like an infielder. You just got to get it there. Realmuto, as he said, has been the best at catching base runners this year. And he got decent speed to the plate from his pitcher, which is a huge part of the equation. Rucinski was under 1.3 to the plate there. 1.3 being major league average. 1-2 on Desmond. 2-2. Desi's trying to give the Rockies the lead. Desi's average is coming up. We've had a lot of discussions about that, but more importantly is, you know, what's the slugging and ultimately what's he doing in clutch situations, and he's been really good, as you know. The OPS over 720, which is pretty darn good considering he's hitting in the 2 teens.
Just over the last Really about 100 at bats, the on base percentage about 370, slugging about 500. He's putting up good numbers.
In fact, over the last 25, to Spilly's point, his on base percentage is 436. Trying to give the Rockies an advantage. 3-2. Ball 4. And that's why his on base percentage has skyrocketed. Borderline pitches he swung at in April, he's not involved with here in June.
And that's because he's on time. His mechanics and what he's able to do when he's at the plate, because he's on time, he can see the pitch.
While Juan Nieves has a conversation with the 29-year-old, we remind you that when the Rockies score 7 in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. 2-run, 2-out single by Trevor Story. He's at second. Desmond at first. So you have maybe the 2 fastest Rockies on base right now for Tom Murphy.
And Murphy does most of his damage against right-handed pitchers, reverse splits. 312 against righties, 155 against lefties.
And Murphy's going to bounce this one to short. Riddle will get the force out. The Rockies get even. They get 3 hits in the inning. Story drives home LeMahieu and Blackman, tied at 4. Driving in the 3rd and 4th runs for the Rockies. And when he stole that base, I'll show you some StatCast information on it. He was traveling at almost 31 feet per second. And you say, what does that mean? Well, elite speed is 30 feet per second. Number 1 in baseball, this is an average, is Byron Buxton, the Fleet center fielder for Minnesota. He's averaged 30.5. Trevor's not far off. He's averaged 29.7. That particular sprint to second, though, look at it. 30.9. One of the fastest guys in baseball. And yet, you read some old scouting reports on him, and they thought some that he was an average runner. He's an elite runner. Another tool that he brings to the yard. Here's the 1-0. It's fouled off by Realmuto.
This catcher's
interference on Tom Murphy.
If you're curious about sprint speed, because I've always looked into it, and you're like, well, what is it in miles per hour? Well, Trevor was basically running 21 miles per hour.
A little faster than the first vehicle I could travel. And there's the catcher's interference. You know, you want to get up tight and be underneath the hitter. Sometimes you get a smidgen too close when you extend that glove. So now Justin Bour with a man on, he takes outside. Leadoff man has been on in every inning against Herman. And also goes as an error, by the way, on Tom Murphy. 2-0. I don't think Buddy will be shy about piecemealing this if he has to, with tomorrow being a day off. And obviously he'd like to see Herman somehow harness his command and give 2 or 3 good innings after, you know, the first 2 being very rough. But with what his offense has done, Spilly, to get back in it, get even at 4, it's going to be a short leash. And now they're 2 on, nobody out. And I would not be surprised to see action in the Rockies' pen.
Well, this last pitch, it's in the Subaru strike zone. I won't pay attention on the 2-seamer that runs back. Murphy has to reach back, but that's a strike. See how much part of the plate it caught. It's unfortunate for Herman.
He's handled Castro twice. A ground ball to short that was not handled by Story. He was hit hard, and then he struck him out his second time. And that's inside, ball 1. And there's Steve Foster on the phone. Bodies moving down in the Rockies' pen. That's a strike. First body move was Aaron Munoz, the Rockies' bullpen catcher. And Chris Russin. Slider, not a particularly sharp one, but it gets the zone. 1 and 2. Castro's got a little Juan Uribe in that he'll kind of bail with his lead leg. He's been an accomplished hitter, though, and Uribe was an accomplished hitter.
There's a point in Juan Uribe's career. He was the last guy I wanted to see with anybody on base. The game on the line, no thank you.
Under the radar, one of the strongest guys in baseball, pound for pound. Two-two. Is it hit hard enough to turn to? There's one, and safe at first. Story threw the fastball over there. It just wasn't quite hit hard enough.
It was 2 days ago that Castro was able to beat out a double play ball. So Trevor, knowing that Castro runs extremely well, those are ranks near the top in infield singles. He powers it up and tries to throw as hard as he can to first. He might have a chance to get this thing overturned. Are they going to look at it? No. Jeff Nelson walked all the way to Bud Black and thought they were going to challenge it. They're not.
Shortstop JT Riddle coming up. Strikeout and a fly ball to center field. First and third, 1 out. Nolan a step inside the bag on the cut of the grass. Infield set for 2 in the middle. First pitch outside, ball 1. Next pitch will be the 75th for Herman. Marcus's splits, home and road last year, were similar in terms of ERA. You know, mid-4s, both home and road. This year, dramatically different. Road numbers are good. The home ERA is not. It's over 7.
There are those numbers, and at Coors Field, you can't get away with pitches, mistakes up. That's why those numbers are so inflated. So much damage in the last 4 starts for Herbon with the fastball, and it's all been elevated.
That road ERA is 10th best in the league at 3.07. 2-1 on Riddle. It's out of play. Noticed on the scoreboard, Cincinnati beat the Cubs again, 8-6. Reds are on a roll, huh?
Sweat the Cubs.
Cubs own Milwaukee, and Cincinnati owns the Cubs. 2-2, fouled off.
Well, I like where that fastball is, but again, for whatever reason, hitters are picking up the fastball, and I don't know if he's tipping pitches, because it has me concerned. Those numbers, I mentioned it earlier, 91% contact rate with the fastball when he throws it. That has to be near the top in baseball. And even foul tips, you just don't see swing and misses with the fastball, and it's at 97.
Real comfortable swings.
It's very comfortable, so I'm curious if there's something the hitters are picking up on it.
Not all 97s are created equal. You think of DeGrom's 97, he gets a lot of swings and misses in the mid to upper 90s, and that's a great block by Murphy on a very difficult pitch to block. 3-2.
The Supermo, it's a spike curveball.
That barely got the dirt. That almost hit the grass.
Not only is it a good block, he prevented Castro from moving to second base, taking a double play out of order.
Not a break. That pitch was ball 4. Check swing, foul ball. J.B. Shuck, a left-handed hitter's on deck. Runner going, and that's down the line, fair. That'll score at least 1. Castro to third. He'll stop there. Parra throws behind to second, but it is a run-scoring double for Riddle, and it's 5-4 Miami. 1 out, 2 in scoring position, and that's going to be all. Second and third with 1 out. Marlins in front by a run. Chris Russin on board when we return.
to come out to a game, there's always great Rocky ticket deals available. Bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back throughout the season. Chris Russin that'll come in, take Herman's place, try to get out of this inning. Runners at second and third. Russin last pitch against the Mets. Had a pretty rough outing. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Still trying to get things right.
Well, when you talk about a run for the Rockies, for any team, it always begins on the hill. You got to get quality starting pitching, like earlier in the year when the Rockies went through their rotation, I think 2 full times in a row where everybody was throwing up zeros, it seemed like.
Yeah, there's what, 11 quality starts in a row?
Cameron Maben's going to pinch hit for Shuck. Shuck got the start against the righty, so Maben will step in. Be an even up swap. Maben a center fielder by trade. He's played on the corner when we've seen him in this series because of Lewis Brinson. With Brinson, typically the youngster gets 1 game off each series, kind of a teaching day and a step back day, according to Don Mattingly. So it's the veteran Maben who's pinch hitting for Shuck here in the 4th inning. And he has to declare because it's very difficult to tell when he's going out of the stretch or the windup. So this is the windup for Russin. Fouled off. But to finish the thought, it's, you know, you can hit all you want. The sport's always been about pitching. To win games consistently, you have to pitch consistently.
Well, to that point, I mean, when you have a starting rotation that's eating up innings, it takes pressure off a bullpen. When you have starters that are going 4 innings, it's going to put pressure and innings on the bullpen, and that's cause and effect.
And that's going to get a run home. DJ will throw out Maben. 6-4 as Castro scores. Riddle to third, 2 outs, and the shortstop Rivera will come up. Excuse me, the third baseman Rivera will come up. Way outside, ball 1. Two now. On deck in the pitcher's spot is Lewis Brinson. Looks like Miami's going to go to Nick Whitgren next. We saw him earlier in the series.
Be careful with this 3-0 count. Rivera very aggressive. That's why the Rockies went off-speed pitch. He was looking to do damage. 2 outs, 3-0 count with the runner at third base. Of course you're going to get a green light.
And a walk to Rivera, and that'll bring up Brinson. He's still kind of hanging out there, waiting for official word. No, he's not going to hit. It'll be Rucinski, so Mattingly a little bluff. And if you say, well, why would you do that? The Rockies were cautious, maybe a little more so with Rivera, knowing they had the rookie in the on-deck circle. And it looks like they want it with the 2-run lead. Maybe get a little more length out of Rucinski. Flip the lineup over. This is going to be close. Well done by Russ, and good feed from Desmond. For a guy
That's a great
with
play.
3 at-bats in the big leagues, that was one heck of a bunt.
Good idea by Rucinski, but better play by Ian and Russin to finish the play off.
Link high-speed challenge question. So many greats here yesterday, part of the silver anniversary weekend for the Rockies. So what's your favorite Rockies nickname all time? Big Cat for Andres Galarraga, Cargo, I think you know. The Todd Father, you know. Chuck Nasty as well. Any good nicknames? I would have had E. Spilligus.
There was a couple Spilligus shirts yesterday. Saw him, it was great.
How about under the radar, less known nicknames that you had for players that you thought were great?
I like Big Daddy for Matt Holliday. Sea Biscuit for Corey Sullivan.
And how did he get that?
Brad Hopp named him Little Sea Biscuit.
Hop would throw some. Hop had weight, would throw some good nicknames out there.
Yeah, he had some good ones.
He had Little Pony for Cargo. Yep. Here's Gerardo Parra. Or El Yolo, as we learned earlier, right?
I like the Big Cat.
Big Cat's a classic nickname. I got one for Tony Walters. You know what they call him?
Paper?
Yeah, Papers. Yep. And the reason this ball's hit to deep right center field. Parra has hit it out. Back-to-back ball games with a home run. And it's 6-5. How good has he been the last 2 months?
He's been great. He's been carrying the bottom of the lineup. It's just, I love that Corey Sullivan came up with the nickname The Bridge, because he's right. It connects the lineup top to bottom, and Gerardo's just been in a good spot offensively this last month. Catches this one out in front. Yesterday, home run off Brad Ziegler, first pitch. A big part of the field, and today just gets another fastball. And usually Gerardo hits that pitch away. You see a guy start getting into the groove, really seeing the baseball, they'll start to do some damage out in front of the plate.
And the Rockies within a run at 6-5. Bottom of the fourth inning. And Cuevas to Riddle on 2 hops. So getting back to Tony Walter's nicknames papers, is he's always carrying around a bunch of papers that he's studying scouting reports, tendencies, when he's preparing to catch that day's starting pitcher. And because of his being so studious, somebody anointed him with that nickname.
Good nickname.
Yeah. I think sometimes even better than the nickname is how the nickname came about. Russ, a good hitting pitcher, takes a strike. In hockey, it's easy. You just add a Y to whatever the guy's name is.
I can't pronounce half of their names.
But just add a Y and you're good. This is pulled through the hole, a base hit for Russell. So DJ coming up. First hit of the season for Chris. So today in the paper, I was reading Nathan McKinnon, who was the final 3.
McKinnon
was in the final 3 for the Hart Trophy, emblematic of the MVP in the NHL. Hall won it.
Hawley.
Well, McKinnon was talking about, and Hall evidently said that McKinnon should have won it.
Really?
And McKinnon said, you know, I really appreciate that. Halsey had a great year. So it's just, you know, just add a Y. Sometimes you have to, you know, maybe add an S in there.
S-Y.
DJ drives this ball to right field and deep. Caught out there in front of the wall by Anderson.
Anderson's a third baseman by trade, and many feel that he's going to be an excellent third baseman, but it was a great play by Anderson right off the bat. Good read.
Well, Cameron Maben, pinch hit for J.B. Shuck, stays in the game in center field. 2 outs, Blackman, sharp single and a run scored last inning to face Drew Rucinski. I want to go back to the other pronunciation. And this ball is lifted to Maben in left center field. He'll get there and make the catch to end the inning. The Rockies get a run closer on home run number 5 from Gerardo Parra. 6-5, Miami going to the 5th.
They were sent to AAA Albuquerque for a rehab assignment yesterday. Here are their numbers. Mike Dunn got the hold. Scott Oberg got the save. Neither of them gave up any runs. We asked Buddy about a timeline. He says, I don't know if they're going to have to do another rehab assignment or if we'll bring them back up here. We'll just have to wait and see. Drew.
All right, Taylor, thank you. We go to the 5th inning. Chris Russin in relief of Germán Marquez. Marcus went just 3 1/3 today, gave up 6 runs, 4 earned, 9 hits, 3 walks, 1 intentionally, struck out 6. Actually, they're saying now 5 earned runs. Derek Dietrich, Brian Anderson, JT Realmuto. 3 guys that have had a real good series here over the weekend in Denver. Dietrich, double, home run, single. Strike 1.
There's his day. Leads off the game. First pitch swinging, opposite field double. His next at bat against Germán on a 3-2 pitch, gets a hanging curveball and hits it out for his 11th. And then the 3rd inning adds another base hit against Germán. Triple away from the cycle, and it's the 5th inning.
Marlins have never had a cycle. Had a bunch of no-hitters though, 6 of them. In fact, their first no-hitter came against the Rockies. Al Leiter and his cutter. And Dietrich strikes out against Russin. Again, that's the first time today the Rockies have retired the leadoff man.
Let's see where Supermo, a good slider down away, great location. Looks like a strike out of the hand. Falls off the table. Nice pitch.
I think it'll help this bullpen immensely if the Rockies can get Chris Russin back to the way he's pitched the last couple of years. Most valuable relievers in all of baseball last year, pitched to a 2.85 ERA in a variety of roles. Limited by some injuries 2 years ago, but he was good when he was healthy 2 years ago. Anderson 1 for 3. We were giving Taylor a hard time about Arkansas earlier. Arkansas and Oregon State play for national championship coming up in Omaha, best out of 3. Kentucky's got a great program. Chris Russin's alma mater, new facility there. Swung on a miss, 2-2. And they recruit in Colorado. A couple of kids headed there a year from now. It's low. Justin Olson from Pine Creek headed there next year. 2 years from now, Hank Bard, Mike Bard's son, good friend of ours.
That's great.
3-2. Arkansas represented by Casey Opitz right now. He's the backup catcher, is a true freshman at Arkansas. Bryce Matthews a year from now, an outfielder from Chaparral. Jeff Houston's kids went there. He'll be going to Arkansas. It just speaks, you know, I get on the soapbox once in a while. It just speaks to how good Colorado high school baseball's become, especially down in this corridor.
Yeah, it's been getting the recognition it deserves. There's a lot of great athletes that play multiple sports here in Colorado, and for baseball, and understand what the Rockies and having this organization here for 25 years means to baseball in the Front Range.
So the same thing happened in hockey. Another 3-2, and that's fouled off. And Oregon State. Next year, Justin Boyd will be headed to Oregon State to play for the Beavers. This ball's well hit to right. Cuevas makes the catch. He got turned around a little bit. That was a really fine play by Noel.
Athletic play by Cuevas. He turned the wrong way. And as an outfielder trying to relocate the baseball when you're doing the snap turn with your head, pay attention to him. Turns the wrong way, has to spin, refine the baseball, and for an outfielder to make a grab on his glove side, where you reach out, you'll see a lot of outfielders miss that ball. So have the wall coming into the back of your mind.
JT Realmuto pulls the cutter foul. Yency Almonte was at the airport thinking he was headed back to AAA earlier today. Now in the Coors Field bullpen.
Good thing you answered that phone call. Sunday, I usually don't answer my call if I didn't see random phone numbers.
Something tells me that he better have had whoever was calling him, that the name, I'm sure, popped up in addition to the number. So that's why you haven't answered any of my calls on these Sundays?
Yeah, I don't answer calls on Sunday, especially for numbers I don't recognize.
2 strikes on Realmuto. Quick pitch, down low, 1-2. Remind me later to delete you from my phone book, please.
I've already deleted you.
I got you first. 1-2. Here the hat catch in level 2. That was nice. The hat keeps the sun off the head and also acts as a glove when you forget to bring one. 1-2.
Take a look at that hat catch with the MLB hat. Nice play. I love how the fans next to him are diving out of the way.
Swung on and missed. Good inning for Chris Russin. Couple of strikeouts, some help in deep right field by Cuevas. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Rockies down a run. Nolan will lead it off. 5 in the 5th. They'll have 3, 4, and 5 in their order. Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story, Ian Desmond. Hey, big congratulations to a friend of ours and a colleague, Jack Corrigan on the right, Jerry Schimmel on the left, Jesse behind controlling things as a producer engineer. Jack broadcasting his 2,500th Colorado Rockies game. Jack been in the booth for 16 years now on the radio side, came from Cleveland, worked on the Indians broadcast for a number of years as well. So congrats to Jack.
There's a cake with his name on it. 2,500 games, I'm gonna go eat it.
As long as it doesn't have 2,500 calories, or excuse me, candles.
Yeah, I don't think.
It probably has more than 2,500 calories.
That'd be fine.
Arenado, a 2-run line drive home run in the first, struck out swinging in the second. He's going to see a new arm here. Tyron Guerrero is in. This kid throws really hard. Rockies have seen him now a couple of times, once in this series, once down in Miami. 6'8".
He got off to a great start, but the slider's just been failing him. Big fastball. When you look at it. When you're a hitter and you know that you don't have to worry about a secondary pitch and all you have to worry about is a fastball, he becomes hittable.
He takes a deep breath after almost hitting Nolan. 2-0. Maben backs up in center field and it's fouled off. I was watching Maben after that second pitch sailed over the head of Nolan. He's like, all right, 2-0 count, and he took 5 noticeable steps back in center field. Three and 1.
You can tell Nolan took 2 very aggressive swings on the fastball. I think the aggressive swing was in part to having a fastball up and in. He really wants to hit the ball hard. And unfortunately for Nolan, he had 2 pitches he could handle.
(3-2). And that ball is sprayed into the seats. Do you remember the first time in your career where you faced a guy and you said, man, that's quick? Was it one time where you go, wow?
Billy Wagner. First time I faced Billy Wagner when he was with the Houston Astros. Had no shot.
Got under this a little bit, but it's still traveling to deep left center field. It's caught out there by Dietrich. Second time in this series that Nolan has hit a ball to that spot. Very nearly tied it up.
A super fastball just off the end of the bat. Reaction for Nolan, he knows it too. Hitters are hitting .303 against Guerrero's fastball.
Trevor Story tied the game in the third at 4-all with a sharp 2-out, 2-run single up the middle. 1 for 2. Takes inside. So the question begs, you faced a lot of guys with plus fastballs, 95 plus, and then Billy Wagner from the left side, and you're right-handed obviously, comes in and you're like, wow, this is super quick. Is it just short arm action?
Short arm action. I've always pointed out that shorter pitchers are very deceptive. And Billy Wagner looked like he was throwing uphill. And so the ball would travel, and now that we have metrics to kind of put into words what we felt, and the ball exploded. And Billy Wagner probably had spin rate better than anybody with the carry through the strike zone.
In the air, right center field. Anderson, 2 outs.
First time you see a fastball that's 98 miles an hour that feels like 105, and there's no way to get your timing because your mind plays a trick on you. It's telling you, this is normal. This is what I've seen my whole career. And then when it comes out and you're 2-3 clicks behind it, I mean, you don't get enough opportunities, especially against a closer like that, to face him multiple times to get a better gauge on how to approach him.
Ian Desmond 0 for 1 and a walk. Ball 1. Big swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's where Ian, just like Nolan, take a shorter swing, just put the barrel on the ball. You don't have to overswing with the guy with high velocity like this.
That is a foul ball. You know, earlier I saw that Aroldis Chapman, since his career began, has thrown either 20 in the neighborhood of 2,300 or 2,600 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Think about that. And it doesn't really matter whether it was 2,300 or 2,600. I'm trying to do it from memory. The next highest was, you know, a couple hundred. Desmond goes down. So the Rockies go in order against Guerrero in the 5th. We move to the 6th inning. It's a 1-run game. Rockies trailing 6-5. AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees, that's transparency. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Taylor McGregor. Rockies on this Sunday trailing 6-5. German Marquez, tough outing, 3 1/3, gave up 6 runs, 5 earned on 9 hits. He gave up 3 in the first. The Rockies have battled back. They're within a run. Justin Bour in the 6th inning against Chris Russin, who's done a nice job, and Chris gets the first pitch strike on that wobbly ground ball. 2/3 so far for Russin. And Boer a swinging bunt. Russin to first, one out.
It's almost better for Chris Russin to get these multiple innings right now. Think back to when he first started gaining traction at the major league level with the Rockies. He was a swing pitcher for the Rockies. He would get those starts, and then he'd go to the bullpen, then he'd get a start. And because Chris is such a field pitcher, especially with his location, that's so important for him to be able to command multiple pitches that I think this is great for him. Getting 2/3, maybe even 3/3 of work today to kind of get that confidence and that good feel. He's gotten progressively better since the first batter he faced this afternoon.
I bet you he would concur. A check swing from Starlin Castro, but no swing. So it's 1-0. And that's a strike. So far this year, Chris in 31 innings has walked 17. Last year in 85 innings, he's walked 19. This gives him an opportunity, as you were suggesting, to get a rhythm.
Longest outing for the season for Chris. He's done multiple 2-inning outings, but in the last month, it's been far and few in between.
I've heard Chris say on a couple of occasions lately, even though the last outing wasn't great, that he feels close. And Chris is an honest guy. He's not going to tell you something because that's what you want to hear when reporters ask him. Two and two. Well, Sully came up with the great nickname you're talking about with Gerardo. He's a bridge guy, right? Last year, as the Rockies go to the postseason, this was their bridge guy in the pen. Clearly, Chris Russin.
That's what's so amazing when you were looking at high leverage relievers. Archie Bradley, Andrew Miller. Chris Russin's name was right in there. It was sandwiched in between them. He was an elite level reliever a year ago. And so much of the Rockies' success came because of Chris Russin.
Just missed. 3 and 2. Castro's 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the first, reached on a fielder's choice, and would score in the fourth. And a ground ball to deep short, cut off by Nolan. He's still going to get it.
It's almost football season. Nolan with the interception.
Picked that one off, didn't he?
Yeah, pick 6. There's a chance they almost ran into each other, and you can see how deep Nolan's playing. Takes a good steep angle, doesn't set his feet. Gets Castro. Ball hog.
Yeah, I mean, Story stopped talking to Nolan a couple months ago. That'll continue. Present Gold Glover, future Gold Glover. Riddle's in a ditch, 0 and 2. Look again.
You want to see what happens when you intercept the ball from Trevor Story? 2 ball hogs on the left side. Most hitters talk about how it's impossible to get it through. Trevor's face is priceless.
Yeah, Story hates Nolan. Oh, 2 on Riddle. Breaking ball taken off the plate. 1 and 2. Riddle an RBI double in the fourth. Chris has done a good job settling things down. Rockies have been out hit 9-6. Colorado uncharacteristically has committed a couple of errors. One of the errors was catcher interference. And that's a great pitch and an easy play for DJ. Another terrific inning for Chris Russin. 6-5. Tommy Murphy will be first when we come back.
Six to 5 in the bottom of the 6th inning. All fans attending the Rockies Diamondbacks game on July 10th will receive a free LED light bulb upon exit, courtesy of XL Energy. If it lights up blue, red, or green, you could win a prize.
Just informed that next year they're changing all these lights to LED lights. And they've asked us to help, Billy, so you just have to climb up there on that ladder and I'll hand you the bulbs. Actually, I'm going to hand you the bulbs before you get up on the ladder because I just think it would be more efficient that way. You in?
I'm in.
Okay. How are you with heights?
Scared to death.
Tom Murphy 0 for 2 facing Guerrero. Second inning of work for Tyron Guerrero. And it's fouled back.
I've been pressing and suggesting that the awning or whatever, the roof, what do they call that thing? It's an awning, right?
Yeah.
It should all be solar panels and just light this thing up. Make the stadium green.
Never know what happens down the road. 2 strikes on Murphy. And Tommy fouls this off.
Now there's already solar panels here, which are great. In fact, the banner right next to the batter's eye is powered from those solar panels.
Mark McGuire in the '98 All-Star game in the home run derby almost hit
the rock pile.
He almost hit the, I'm exaggerating on it slightly, but he hit the batter's eye. He hit below that.
Come on.
Did you ever take a look at Mark McGuire back in '98? 1-2. And a strikeout of Murphy. And that'll bring up Gerardo. Last at bat, Parra lost one into the bullpen. The Marlins bullpen in right center field hit a home run yesterday.
Oh, look out.
99 under the chin. Here's the series for Parra.
7 for 16 on the series. Couple home runs, couple doubles. 10 RBIs. He's been driving in runs. Really helping this Rockies offense.
Yeah, the homestand, 2 3-run doubles and a couple of bombs to boot. Another one here would be appreciated. 2-0. Well, clouds have cleared out. Got a beautiful Sunday afternoon now. Once again, this ball game was delayed 1 hour and 31 minutes at the outset. It absolutely poured for a while. A little after 1 o'clock today. Parra said, I'm swinging the bat on this 2-0 pitch no matter where it is. This thing was about
Yeah, some of the Rockies
neck
hitters,
high.
I keep thinking back to Nolan, even Ian Desmond last at bat. Some of the pitches from Guerrero have been a little high and tight for the Rockies' liking, and they've taken almost overly aggressive swings.
You know what's funny about Gerardo? Sometimes some of his swings, not all of them, resemble that of players from the Far East.
Spin out. His body moves quite a bit.
2-2. Two and two. And Parra went. 3 straight strikeouts for Guerrero. 2 gone in the 6th inning, and that'll bring up Noel Cuevas. He's bounced to short twice in the ball game. Cuevas, true to form. We had a long conversation at the clubhouse today. He brings a very aggressive mentality to the plate, and part of being the best you could be at any level, Spilly, I'll let you embellish this, is knowing who you are.
You have to understand what makes you tick, what allows you to be great. For Cuevas, being aggressive. I want to be the aggressor. I like it when hitters have this type of mentality.
If Peter were to reach, Chris Iannetta will hit next. Rockies have Jake McGee up. Adam Conley is up, the only left-hander for Miami. He's yet to pitch in this series. Former starter. And that's a strikeout to the side by Guerrero. 2 spotless innings for Guerrero, 4 strikeouts. So we'll go to the 7th. The Rockies deficient by a run. Today on an all-new episode of The Club, we continue our season-long celebration of 25 years of Rockies baseball as the team celebrates its all-time top 25 players. We'll look back at the moments that define the organization. Cowboy will ride along. Tracy Ringlesby has been with the club for most of those 25 years. So we have that and much, much more. That's later on this day on The Club after a Rockies comeback victory. Marlins leading 6-5 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Cameron Maben will be first up, and the Rockies have a new pitcher out there, Jake McGee.
McGee last threw against the Mets on the 21st, a couple days ago. An inning, 2 hits, gave up a run with a strikeout.
One strike on Maben, second at bat. He had a ground ball to second that drove in a run in the 4th inning. Pinch hitting for J.B. Shuck when Don Mattingly went right for left. When Russin came into the ball game, he just missed. Chris Russin, 2 2/3, a spotless relief, kind of settled this game down. This is playable. Free and Desmond. And he makes the catch, 1 out. Third baseman's Yadiel Rivera.
Yadiel originally signed by the Milwaukee Brewers back in 2010, 9th rounder out of Puerto Rico.
And a hard shot that's going to scoot into right field. Good effort by Desmond. Base hit for Rivera, and now Lewis Brinson will pinch hit.
Rivera hits one opposite field where Desmond's playing off the bag pretty far. Just short hops him on the backhand side.
Home plate umpire Jeff Nelson writing on his scorecard the change. Brinson pinch hitting. 1 on, 1 out. Rockies have Adam Ottavino up. With the day off tomorrow, 1-run game, you're going to see the plus side arms for Colorado. Way inside. You want every game. You need every game in your mind. Today in particular. Runner going, and it's fouled off. Two balls and a strike. There's Freddie Gonzalez, big league manager. Worked at third base for Don Mattingly. Good man.
I like Freddie.
Got a nice coaching staff. Perry Hill is good at infield instructors you'll find in baseball. Perry's at first base, has been for a while. Jeff Houston swears by Perry Hill.
Yep. He's talking with Huey this morning about a conversation him and Perry had before the game, and they were just going over just simple philosophies on fielding a ground ball. Perry's a big believer in the funnel approach. Field the ball, pull the ball up to your chest as an infielder. That way it shortens your arm swing so it's not long like an outfielder typically is. And he's about shuffling the feet. He doesn't like it when people cross their feet in the infield. Think of a college quarterback or a football quarterback.
That was, I guess, a check swing. Brinson may have gone 3-1. You know, there's some infield instructors who have the right foot slide behind the left foot, almost like a karaoke in Perry Hill. Doesn't believe in that. This ball lifted to left field and deep by Brinson, and off the top of the wall, heading home, and the throw going there is not going to get it. Brinson goes to third as Rivera scores. A triple off the bench by Brinson, and now it's 7-5 Miami.
Off the bat, I thought it wasn't going to stay in the yard, and Gerardo Parra giving great chase. Almost ended up making a circus catch. Right off the padding, and the chain link pops up. Charlie does a good job getting it into Trevor for the relay. I thought they had a good chance, but Rivera runs extremely well.
Now you have to bring the infield in. Dietrich at the plate. 11 hits to produce the 7 runs for Miami. The Rockies 5 runs on 6 hits. You don't want to fall behind by any more. The back end of the Miami bullpen's pretty solid.
A lot of hard throwing righties.
That is going to bring home a run, a single the opposite way. Nolan wanted to slam his glove to the turf, but it was hit pretty sharply by Dietrich. That's his 4th hit of the ball game, his 2nd RBI, 2 singles, a double, and a home run. 8-5 Miami, and again the bullpen continues to struggle for the Rockies. Got great work from Chris Russin, and now Jake's going to be removed from the game.
Just under the glove of Nolan. His reaction, I think, upset with missing that baseball, but more upset just understanding what this series means for the Rockies.
Your attention. Now pitching for the Rockies,
I'll tell you about the double switch when we come back. 8-5 Miami.
inning. You now trail the Rockies, trailing them 8-5. Planning an event? Send an email to dinger@rockies.com to have the Rockies mascot at your next event.
So Adam Ottavino's in the ball game. Rockies down 8-5. There's one out. Dietrich at first. Second career 4-hit game for Derek Dietrich. And Brian Anderson's at the plate. Infield single and 4 at bats. Dietrich's first 4-hit game came earlier this month. He's on some kind of roll.
It's like when the Rockies saw Scooter Gennett. He was on fire.
Well, Scooter Gennett has stayed hot seemingly against everybody. Two now. It's kind of like Paul Goldschmidt came to town and he had just started to get hot. Got real warm against the Rockies. That has continued on. Cold as Goldschmidt was in April, that's how hot he's been the last month or so. 2-0, back up the middle, should be 2. DJ takes it himself. That'll get the Rockies off the field. 2 runs on 3 consecutive hits for the Marlins against Jake McGee, and the Rockies are down 3 runs as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. As we like to do on Sunday, we're going to stick around for a rendition of God Bless America. Enjoy, everybody.
Fans, the Colorado Rockies in Furniture Row are proud to host and honor those who sacrifice on behalf of us all. Joining us today is Sergeant David Puckett. Sergeant Puckett has been assigned to several embassy duties as well as an instructor at Camp Pendleton. He has been recognized for his superior performance on numerous occasions. Joining Sergeant Puckett on the field are his sons Riley and Lucas. Furniture Row and Denver Mattress are proud to present Sergeant Puckett with a $250 gift certificate in appreciation of his service. Fans, please give a warm hero's welcome to Sergeant David Puckett and all our nation's brave servicemen and women and their families. We thank you for your service and sacrifice. To nominate a military hero, visit Rockies.com/military hero. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country by the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the 140th Wing Colorado Air National Guard, is Technical Sergeant Kristen Johnson. Please welcome Technical Sergeant Johnson and join her by singing along to God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with
Rockies with work to do. They've gotten even in this game. They've trailed by 3 runs on a couple of occasions, down 8-5. Cargo came into the double switch, bounces one to second on the first pitch from Adam Conley, and there's one out. Adam Conley now in the ball game. DJ LeMahieu coming up with one out. And for Conley, the former starter, the bullpen has worked well for him. Just a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and the league hitting just 191 against Conley. He was a guy that would work 90-92 as a starter, and now the velocity as a sprinter is more mid-90s. Kind of a gangly left-hander, arms, knees, elbows flying at you, and then you got to pick up the baseball, right?
Throws across his body, and because he's a former starter, he'll have other secondary pitches that he's developed. Change up right there at 84, down and away quickly. 0-2 to DJ.
Eight outs to work with for the Rockies, down by 3. And now 7 outs. The Rockies have not had a base runner since Chris Russin singled with 1 out in the 4th inning. 10 straight retired as Charlie Blackmon comes up. For whatever reason, the seasons take on trends. We've talked ad nauseum about the first inning issues for the Rockies. From a pitching standpoint, the 7th inning issues for the Rockies from a pitching standpoint. Yesterday they give up 5 in a tight ball game in the 7th. Today, tight ball game, they give up 2 in the 7th. And conversely, offensively, the Rockies have not been a good late inning team. That has to change.
It should, especially given the fact that the lineup from top to bottom is seemingly taking better at bats.
I mean, virtually everybody's in a better place now than they were in April. Obviously, you know, this guy got off to a good start. Nolan got off to a good start. Both of those guys, DJ included, have been steady. But when you throw in what Parr has done the last couple of months, how Ian Desmond has turned around his season, Cargo, you would think that that would start to impact what's taking place late in games. Two on Charlie with 2 outs. And Conley, a dominant 7th inning. That is 6 strikeouts in the last 7 hitters that the Marlins have produced. We'll go to the 8th. 8-5.
will be ready for anything. The Padres in San Francisco today, their team bus didn't show up to the hotel, so what did they do? Well, a director of player and staff services called down his San Francisco tour bus and said, all right, we're going to take this. So they hop on the tour bus and get a police escort to AT&T. Now, the reason the bus didn't show up is because of a pride parade, and there was a lot of cars, a lot of traffic, couldn't make it. Kind of reminded me of Beta Breakers when the Rockies have been in San Francisco and haven't been able to get to the ballpark on time, guys.
That was no fun. The Beta Breakers, great citizens race like the Boulder. It took us that day going to the ballpark, and this is a Sunday morning, around 9:30 in the morning. Normally a 10-minute ride from our hotel. It took us well over an hour. In fact, at one point, I thought we'd be better off
I thought we should walk.
And
it was a beautiful morning.
Yeah. Different way for the Padres, though, to get to the yard. 2 strikes, Ottavino to JT Realmuto. Fastball misses, ball 1.
There's some video of the Padres on MLB.com that is fantastic. It's hilarious. The guys sitting out there drinking their coffee, open air with the double-decker bus. Didn't help them win today, though. They lost 3-2 in San Francisco.
Realmuto double, walk, reached on an error, catcher's interference, and a strikeout. 2-2 from Ottavino, just missed with that slider. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Adam with a strikeout at 93 of Realmuto. 1 out in the 8th inning.
See where Supermo fastball. See the good movement that Otto gets with the 2-seamer. Runs up and in, well placed. That's a difference for Ottavino. We talk about his slider all the time, but his ability to use fastball and throw it for a strike. Last year, he could not command fastball for a strike. Part of his growth this season was making sure that he had a release point. He was more on line. He was able to repeat delivery with fastball.
And there's strike 1 on Justin Bour.
That's why when you start looking and digging into the numbers with Ottavino, lefties hitting below 100, righties right around 100. It's because of the fastball.
Rockies need to rally to get back to 500 and this homestand 5-2. They're down by 3 here in the 8th inning. And I don't know, Spilly, when you feel the pressure, because we've talked so many times that players understand the length of the season. We're not even at the halfway mark, so there's a ton of baseball left. The Rockies started the day in a tight National League West in 4th place, but only 5.5 games back. However, the Dodgers are really starting to play well. They won again in extra innings today against the Mets 8-7. Arizona and Pittsburgh shut them out 3-0. The Giants, as you said, beat the Padres today 3-2. So the 3 teams ahead of you as Ottavino gathers in another strikeout. They've all won already today.
They're all playing really well. And you're going to go to San Francisco playing a Giants team that's going to look a little different than the team we saw less than a month ago. Same with the Dodgers.
You got Madison Bumgarner back and Kershaw's back. The Rockies will see Bumgarner in that Giants series. And my guess is the Rockies will see Kershaw probably Friday night in Los Angeles. Actually, let me right now, let's see how the Dodgers handle this, because the Dodgers, here's the probables. for the Rockies in San Francisco. Holland and Bettis, Freeland and Bumgarner. What a matchup that is. Gray and Stratton. And the Dodgers actually do not have an off day, so I thought they did. So unless they push him a day, a little extra rest coming off that back, which is entirely possible, he would go Thursday, not against the Rockies. 1-2 on Castro. Rockies will have Arenado, Story, and Desmond in the 8th inning. 1-2.
We just had a critical point in the season, even though there is so many games left, because you're going to play teams within division. All-Star break is really 3 weeks away. You have trade deadline about 30 days away. And depending on what you do can completely change the dynamic of this team and the landscape of how this team moves forward. And so there is pressure. There is absolute added pressure. Rockies on this homestand, winning 4 straight. Had that feel good. Yesterday's loss took the cap to Richards yesterday. Trevor Richards was fantastic. But today's game was extremely important for them.
It's difficult. The pitchers will tell you this, when you consistently start games and your offense is behind. Rockies gave up 3 in the first, 5 out of 7 games on this homestand. The opposition scored in the first inning. Rockies down by 3. Thick part of the lineup due up. Here's our Kubota pitching performance, and we compare the 2 starters. Caleb Smith lasted just 4 outs, had to leave with a shoulder issue. He gave up a couple of runs, and it was a rough outing for Herman. He went 3 1/3, gave up 6 runs, 5 earned. So it's been about the bullpens today, and the Rockies have had good outings from Chris Russin and Adam Ottavino. Ottavino got the last 5 outs, a couple of strikeouts. He continues to have an all-star first half. Jake McGee gave up a couple runs in a 1/3 of an inning, and now Brad Ziegler is on to handle the 8th inning. The first pitch misses to Nolan, ball 1. Nolan, a 2-run home run back in the first. He's 1 for 3, takes ball 2.
Ziegler very effective on right-handed batters, hit 257, lefties 343. Good sinker movement from that arm angle.
3-0. And we were talking earlier about the Rockies offense and how they've accumulated their runs this year. They've been great early in ball games, particularly the first inning, best in baseball. In innings 1 through 3, It's a strike, 3-1. Innings 1 through 3, they average basically 2.1 runs a game. In innings 4 through 6, as you see on the graphic, 1.6 runs per game. 7 through 9, as this is a ground ball to second, they average less than a run a game. One out in the 8th inning. Trevor Story will take his turn. And the Rockies, again, without a base runner since the 4th inning. 12 straight retired. Trevor had a big 2-run single in the 3rd inning with the Rockies down 4-2. He tied it up. That was with 2 outs. And this is on the ground to Riddle.
The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star ballot is now open and exclusively online. So go to your Rockies.com/vote to make sure your favorite Rockies, like Trevor Story, are represented.
Desmond 0 for 2 and a walk today. Earlier in the week, Wednesday and Thursday, he walked 3 times in each of those games. Became the first Rocky to have back-to-back 3-walk games since, and you'll never guess this, so I'm just going to tell you, since April of 2011, when the Bean, Jonathan Herrera, walked 3 times in 2 consecutive games. 1 and 2.
Yeah, there's no way I would have guessed.
No, the Bean was, you know, contact utility infielder. Not somebody you expected the other team to be especially careful with. What a great guy he was. Oh, he is.
Love Johnny Herrera.
2 and 2. Two. And the Rockies go quickly and quietly yet again. Ziegler with a 1-2-3 8th inning. 8-5 Miami going to the 9th.
Center field with Corey Sullivan. I'm Jenny Kavnar. This one, a frustrating one. You start late, and then the scoring starts early once again.
3 runs in the first. Leadoff hitters on in all 4 innings. Marquez was on. Lots of mislocation. That's not what you want to see. The Rockies' offense fought back, but the Rocky killer, Derek Dietrich, got his first 4-game hit, and for the first time, or second 4-game hit, for the first time in his career, homered in 3 straight games.
Yeah, and lots of swings and misses and outs quickly at the end for the Rockies. We need this offense to get going in the 9th, and guys, we'll send it back to you. We'll see you right after the game.
All right, Jenny, thank you. Wade Davis is going to pitch here in the top of the 9th inning. Be the 33rd appearance for Wade.
saves, 21 saves in 25 opportunities. It's not the save opportunity, obviously. The Rockies trying to prevent the Marlins from scoring any more runs. Oftentimes, 4 runs feels like the insurmountable number when you get to the 9th inning. 3 runs is a very manageable number to do some damage.
JT Riddle steps in. And that pitch misses, ball 1. Riddle doubled in a run in the 4th. He's 1 for 4 this afternoon. And Wade has that pitch fouled off. And really nice job by Perry Hill performing what he preaches. Textbook. He funneled that nicely after feeling the ground ball off the side wall. Flipped it to a fan. Nice job, Perry.
He shuffle his feet?
Didn't have to. Comebacker, and it gets through Davis to Story, and Trevor would throw out. Riddle. I don't know if did that contact Davis or go 5-hole?
Yeah, might have had 5-hole right here, right between the legs. No, I think it caught the back of his right leg. Trevor always in the right position.
One out. Cameron Maben 0 for 2, did drive in a run, came off the bench hit for JB Shuck earlier in the game, and this will be an easy play for DJ. In the 9th inning, the Rockies will see Kyle Bearclaw. They'll have Murphy, Parra, and a pinch hitter schedule.
Well, Bearclaw's been on a run. He's not giving up a run in 17 2/3 of an inning.
Well, it's even more impressive than that. He hasn't given up a hit in his last 10 2/3. The longest hitless streak by a Marlins reliever since Armando Benitez went 12 innings in 2004 without giving up a hit.
Wow.
So he's due. That's how you look at it, right?
He's thrown a no-hitter for 10 2/3 of an inning. That's crazy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's got to stop.
1 ball, 1 strike on Yadiel Rivera. He hit a couple of walks today, 1 and 2.
So Rivera, when the Milwaukee Brewers have their AAA down in Colorado Springs, Rivera's been on that team for the last 3 years, so he's probably spent a lot of time watching Rockies games, a lot of time in Colorado.
Did you see where, I'm trying to remember which organization it was, they're moving a team, a short season team, to Pueblo.
It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Pueblo's a really good baseball town.
I go there and speak for the Runyon Sports Complex there.
And they're going to expand, as part of the new deal, they're going to expand the Runyon Sports Complex, build a new stadium, and add youth fields. Good inning for Davis as he strikes out Rivera. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Rockies need a significant rally. On AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by StubHub. Rockies fans, get your tickets at StubHub, official partner of the Colorado Rockies. We're trying to remember what team's moving to Pueblo. The Angels, one of the Angels' short season teams. And they'll be the Pueblo Owls. And the new pitcher in the 9th inning is Kyle Bearclaw. Not only has he gone 10 2/3 without giving up a hit over his last 18 appearances, he's allowed 1 hit. So he's due. Defensive change as well for the Marlins. Miguel Rojas is in the ball game at first. He plays everywhere in the infield. And Justin Bohr has come out. Tom Murphy's going to lead it off. Parra on deck. And then we'll see as the pitcher spot is in the 8th spot of the lineup. Bearclaw threw in yesterday's ball game. A 1-2-3 inning. League hitting .084 against him. Lefties .096, righties .073. It's just ridiculous. Got a great stat for you. Hits per 9 inning. Bearclaw's #1 in fewest hits allowed per 9 innings. And Adam Ottavino, who threw the ball exceptionally well again today, is #2. The question will be a month from now, is Bearclaw a Marlin? 2 strikes. And this is a towering fly ball to deep left field, but Murphy got under it just a little bit, and it's caught out there in left. One out, and that'll bring up Parra, who wants tacos. Fans, follow us at AT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 runs in a game. Chris Ionetta's come in the on-deck circle.
Club record for the Marlins in innings pitched by a reliever without giving up a hit goes back to Armando Benitez back in 2004. His streak was 14 1/3.
Bearclaw will have to get over and cover. 2 outs. So Ionetta, the last chance for the Rockies to pass the baton. "16 consecutive hitters retired by the Marlins, all out of the bullpen." Again, their starter Caleb Smith got just 4 outs and then was removed when he had discomfort in his shoulder. Especially late in the series in Denver, it's asking a lot for a bullpen to pick up 7+ innings.
It's almost like a bullpen day for the Marlins today, and I think, unfortunately for Caleb Smith getting injured, but the way the Rockies were starting to swing and the way they've been swinging against left-handed pitchers, they were going to get him.
2-0's in there, 2-1, because of the short start by Wei-Yin Chen. Just 4 innings on Friday. The Rockies won in blowout fashion, 11-3. Richards was really good yesterday. 6 innings of one-run baseball, but Smith, as we talked about, they got only a little over 11 innings from their starters in this series. 3-1, but they're an out away from taking 2 out of 3. They took 2 out of 3 down in Miami against the Rockies.
This is going to be a real frustrating series if you lose this.
(3-1), and it's a fly ball to right field. Brian Anderson will tuck it away, and the Marlins win the baseball game this afternoon by a final score of 8-5. And they do take 2 out of 3 from Colorado. On the homestand, the Rockies a 1.14 straight. Unfortunately, they lose the last 2, and it's a 4-3 homestand, and they'll go out on the road to San Francisco at 38-40. The Marlins now 31-47. Again, the final score: the Marlins win today 8-5. To center field we go. Here's Jenny.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. Yeah, an 8-5 loss for the Rocks. 17 consecutive batters retired to end the game. Little fight from Colorado. We'll be right back with the Toyota Postgame Show.